Welcome to Tape Talk. Here with an old buddy, Daniel Craig. And Daniel, I just want to ask, what's the painting in the background? Is that the Little Rock skyline?
Oh, I don't know. This is something my wife put up.
Oh, okay. So it could just be some kind of like no name skyline from like TJ Maxx or something.
This kind of looks like the Golden Gate Bridge.
I guess. I mean, it could look like any bridge. How you doing, man?
Pretty good.
Good. It's good to see you.
Yeah, man.
Um, can you get, I mean, you don't have to get closer to the camera, but it seems a little hard to hear you. I mean, you're not, yes, stay right there. No, go back where you were. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could just kind of keep like kind of an intent vibe the whole time, you know, that'd be great. Um, what's been going on? I'm gonna have one of these while we talk, if you don't mind.
Oh, not much, man. Just building houses and checking on houses and picking up lumber and then dropping it off.
Keeping workers in line.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Cracking the whip.
Can we say that anymore?
That's
I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe it's just a cowboy thing or like a wrestling thing.
pretty brutally violent. I don't whip anybody.
Um, does yeah, do you have to be the bad guy every day as a construction site foreman?
I'm kind of a good cop, you
Yeah.
know.
Do they
Like
sense that?
I hope so.
What's the worst? I mean, what's the like with the most, like confrontational or aggressive that you've had to get in that situation?
Uh Mainly with like suppliers, you know.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so like the bad guys.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, you're you're trying to get something there, and they deliver some of it, but not all of it, but then tell you that you're a liar, that you got all of it. You're like, no, nobody. This isn't real.
That's great. Well, thanks for jumping on last minute. You know what? I actually, okay. So, what's your what's your format of? I mean, like, if you had to think of your earliest memory of tape, or just like an early memory, something that is meaningful to you. What tape is it? Is it cassette, or I mean, what is it and what was it?
Oh man, are you talking about as far as listening to cassettes or
Whatever,
recording?
just like some for early childhood memory of tape. I mean, do you have any memory of it or anything that sticks out to you?
So we had this big like tub that was just full of our cassettes, no cases or anything, just all piled together. And I must have been like 2 or 3 years old, and there was some like Mickey Mouse cassette that I liked a lot. And
It was near the top, hopefully.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And and then uh there was a Hawaiian Punch promotional cassette that I really liked too.
God. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. How many times was that said in the on the I mean, it's like they had to say it like every, what, 5 minutes or something?
No, that's Kool-Aid thinking of Hawaiian
Oh,
Punch.
Hawaiian. Oh yeah, no, duh. Okay, wait. What was Hawaiian Punch? Oh my God.
Uh,
He had a slogan too, right? Or did he,
yeah, some I don't know. I don't remember, but it was a really obnoxious cassette, and everyone, my parents hated it, my brothers and sisters hated it, but I was really into it, and
God, Hawaiian
it
Punch. Man, I wish we had that queued. I wish we knew that there was one, like, that there was audio of that album on YouTube and we could just like have it queued up to like demonstrate. But I mean, that would just be a rabbit hole for another time.
was music. I think it was like a like almost like a radio drama kind of thing.
Wow.
Uh, do you remember those Focus on the Family cassettes that were like Adventures in Odyssey or something?
I can imagine. I mean, that was, I don't have firsthand experience, but I mean, I feel like I've seen those and know what you're talking. I can imagine or know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. There was like some kind of
Like a storytelling
you know
cassette.
there like the Hawaiian Punch guy was getting into and had to get resolved, but the details of it elude me.
Okay. All right. Well, it sounds like you guys kind of had like basically a thrift store tub. Like
Yep.
once you go into a thrift store once upon a time, and it's like they didn't give a shit. They were just like, hey, just put this out there, and it was just a mess of
Yeah.
some like broken cases and loose cassettes and stuff, right?
Yeah. Entertainment for good little Christian boys and girls. You know.
So there was no like like release like Michael Jackson Thriller or
It
uh
was all like
Paula Abdul or whatever.
DC talk, uh, fucking uh, Amy Grant, cassettes.
Oh no, no, I love some Amy Grant. Heart in Motion and Unguarded. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Ugh, love those albums. Um, that's good. That's just good 80s synth pop. I mean, that's just in general. But um, okay, so that's your earliest memory. Do you have any memory of like, I mean, because okay, so you ended up, kind of obsessing over like 4-track Porta Studios,
oh yeah,
basically like 4 tracks as people call them, but they're basically like portable home studios where you can multi-track 4 or 8 channels of onto a cassette, 4 channels of the cassette strip of the tape being like that, or 8 channels being like that, on the skinny cassette. Now, did you ever get into 8-track or were you only 4-track?
see, I tried to get some 8-track machines, but they most of them had issues, and the 4-track machines more often were easier to keep up,
Yeah,
the I got a couple of 8-track machines and they always had problems. And
yeah.
so I had the first uh, the first Porta Studio I had was actually my older brother's 424 MK3, the blue one,
Yeah, the light, yeah, the kind of medium blue. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a hold of that when I was like 14 or 15 and started recording on it really badly, like overloading everything, trying to get it loud enough for my taste, which I didn't get the hang of not clipping tracks until probably like 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh man, that's crazy. Hey, oh, by the way, okay, so I just to let you know what's happening here is your voice is a little quiet, and I think there's some kind of like setting. In fact, let me see if I can find there's some sound setting. I'm new, kind of new to Zoom meetings. You can tell me maybe, but there's like you are so it's like whoever talks, it kind of assigns who talks the loudest, it assigns the thing too. So generally when people talk about the same volume, it kind of works out, but you're a little yeah, so you're a little closer, maybe, yeah, get in there a little bit more.
Hey guys.
So we'll give that a try. I guess I should just look up on I should Google like how to fix that. There we go.
Hi. Hello,
All
everyone.
right. All right. Now you've gone too far. Now, all right. So you're okay. So you're doing okay. So you ended up kind of doing 4-track for a while, but before that, I mean, like, what got you? I mean, was it your brother's 4-track that kind of got you in? I mean, like, did you? Because first of all, how old are you? Again, I should know this.
35.
35 already? Oh my gosh. Man, time flies. Gosh,
Yeah,
seems like it was just the other day when I met you and you were like, what, how old, when we met, like 16? You were 16 or something?
18, I believe. 17.
18? No, you were younger than 16. I mean, 18, I think. Because
Uh,
it was like a house show I played and we met each other. Then it was like a year later that when I moved there. So, and where are you from again? So, or where are you?
Little Rock, Arkansas.
Yeah, Little Rock. So, and just just as a thing to keep in mind for anybody watching this, the repair tech scene in Little Rock is fucking terrible. My wife and I lived there. We lived there for 2 years, and I tried to get some things repaired, and it's just like there's nobody. It's tough. It's tough. So if you finding cool gear around that area is not a problem. There's like plenty of cool stuff to find here and there, whether Craigslist or in the thrift store or somebody giving something away. But getting it fixed up to to where you can use it is another story in those parts.
Here who will tell you that they'll try, and then they'll stick your piece of gear in like some corner in their shop for like 2 years. You're like, hey, what's wrong with that thing? And they're like, oh, I don't think I can get faders for it anymore, man, or something like that. You're just like, all right, whatever. Just just keep it, I guess.
Oh, that's sad. That's sad. So, how did you transition, or like, was it your brother's 4 track that kind of got you? I mean, you caught the tape bug, I mean, like, what? I'm not just like recording, but you were collecting. You were buying cassettes and listening. So, kind of,
Well,
how did
well,
you get
the
there?
the thing about cassettes in like 2000, like 2010 to 2014 was you could pick up tons of them on Amazon at the time for 50 cents a pop. Like you're basically just paying on them. So I got all sorts of stuff. I got Brian Eno cassettes, Spiritualized, Jesus and Mary Chain, REM. You can find REM cassettes everywhere still, but I mean, it was kind of like the cheapest format to collect for. I've still got most of the stuff I bought back then. And I haven't really been buying new cassettes unless I like find them in a thrift store for a good deal, because uh, somebody caught on or something, and now like you can't get anything for less than $20. And it was kind of like at first it was kind of like a value proposition for me. I was like, this is, I can get really great records for 50 cents a piece. Like, why not? You know, why am I spending, $18 a pop on a CD or, $10 on a record, you know?
Mm, yeah. So would you say? I mean, do you feel like you caught a cassette bug, or do you feel like you just were like going for efficiency?
Uh, I, I for sure like them, and I like I don't know. It's it, when you're kind of a early 20s pack rat, like that kind of stuff is is definitely tempting. And it was at the time, it's not so anymore. Goodwill just had like an entire shelf just like filled with them. And so you could actually pick through some and find like good stuff out in the wild. Uh, it's not the case anymore. They don't even carry VHSs anymore.
Hmm.
They might have like a stack of records that they're really proud of. That's all like Herb Alpert. But most of it was just like being really into hunting stuff at thrift stores and the availability. Um, and there were lots of like cassette boom boxes that people were like chucking, because CDs thing. And
Oh yeah, yeah.
So like every, I think every generation has a cast off item that cheapens in value that they can kind of, buy up. And at the time that was cassettes because it was like they were everywhere. Everyone was getting rid of them. So it was just a flood of them.
Yeah. So you so then you eventually started. All right. So we when did you get your brother's 4 track? Was that before we met, or is that around the time we met?
And that was at the time it was like all I had to record on. After that, I got like a Tascam digital recorder, like it was like 8 tracks, but it only had like 2 input, record
Yeah.
two at a time. Uh, and uh, that was what I used for a couple of years, and what I was using up to the time that I met you. And you kind of turned me on to some of the cassette 4 tracks, and actually helped me get my first, what was my first 424,
Mm,
uh, like an MK2,
mhm.
and uh, I think you found it on eBay for me, and it was like 115 bucks at the time.
That's right. I forgot about that.
And I actually still use the suitcase that you fashioned for me, put it
Forgot.
in.
I'm so anal. It's like because I've helped several people, get into 4 tracks, and and it's like that's the big thing though for me is like, all right, now you got to take care of this thing, okay? Now, oh, how you gonna carry this thing around? You know what? Just I'm gonna fix this up for you, and then of course I either take some cardboard box and just like spend
Yeah,
way too much time fashioning, getting some styrofoam and whatever. I mean, just making it into a case, or going to a thrift store and getting doing the same thing with a suitcase, and then presenting it with them, and they're like totally weirded out, like, whoa, you didn't have to do that. It's like, no, 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 I had to do that. And when you have to transport it for the first time, you'll thank me, that kind of thing.
use it. And actually, the bubble wrap that you put on the top of it, it's still intact.
Wow. Gosh, that 25-year-old air or whatever it was, 20-year-old air.
Yeah, you
Um,
can't beat it.
uh,
That's the stuff air, you know,
wait, what?
that aged air. That stuff is it holds up better than new air.
God damn. You know what? What sucks? There's something strange happening that's different than other Zoom calls I've done with you. Something's happening with you where it's like I'm clipping your volume more so than other people's. So it's like I'm really trying to not talk over you or just kind of shut up real quick. But if I laugh or like go or make some kind of noise, then it like shuts you off for like 2 seconds, and I feel like I'm missing the good stuff. But
It might be something to do with my phone. I'm using my phone, so
oh, okay, well, whatever. Yeah, I'll just keep trying to be mindful of it. But yeah, so we got together. I moved to Little Rock, and we met each other. We formed a band called Meager Bop, and we were just doing tape stuff, and then I started. That's where I started Dead Media Tapes. This
yeah,
whole motherfucker that I'm in the hole for presently. But and you were there. Yeah, like it's like, well, who's going to be my assistant? Daniel.
it was mainly like hanging out while you like guzzled growlers of beers and took apart tapes in front of me. It was like keeping you company, basically.
You did some things though. I mean, I remember I have memories of you putting labels on tapes, and
I lifted tubs.
You were very, very important moral support there. Oh, but also there was so I guess when Dead Media Tapes started, it was mainly about the initial focus was to create a community of okay, so obviously Dead Media Tapes was an eight track cartridge based, and I found this stuff at what was it? Oh, I almost remember the name of that thrift store. Wolf Street. Is
Yeah.
that what it's called? Yeah. So I found an 8-track recorder and a bunch of tapes at Wolf Street thrift store, and got it home, and I just had like a religious, uh, like Paul on the road to Damascus or whatever, moment um, with that. So I decided I've got to create an 8-track only record label, and
I had
now
a really
who's going to be in? Oh, wait, sorry, what?
I had a really hard time explaining why we were doing it to people. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. So it's like, well, how is this going to work? Well, I guess we have to create a community. We have to create some kind of demand, so to speak.
It
Um,
almost angry when it
Wait,
would.
what? I'm sorry, I cut you. It's that fucking thing. It's like,
It's all good. I said it almost like made people incredulous and angry at us when we would explain it to people.
yeah, they were just like, oh man, yeah, some people weren't having it. They were just, and some people were just like totally on board. I think who's on board? Andy. I think Andy was on board, right?
Yeah,
What's his last
yeah.
name again? God damn.
Burns.
Andy Burns. Yeah, Andy Burns, the thing that always explodes. And I remember Matt he was on board pretty quick,
Yeah.
but
Uh,
yeah, there's other, and then the Crisco kids were kind of like whatever.
no comment.
But yeah, it was so we were going around basically. So I was trying to create like a whole ecosystem for this happening, and I was obsessed with analog recording. So you would come with me, and we would record bands. I bring a reel-to-reel machine out, either a 4-track or a stereo, and we do a live to stereo mix down with all the miking all the band instruments in their practice space, or do a 4-track thing. And then I'd mix it down at home, and then duplicate it onto 8-track, and then you would kind of help me do the stuff. Anything to say about this? I mean, I could keep going on, but anything to say about this so far?
uh, the Crisco kit, that was a 2-track machine, wasn't it?
It was,
Uh,
yeah.
and also the same for the thing that always explodes.
It is good memory, man. Yeah.
And like what I remember about that one, which I think didn't you put that up recently on the Bandcamp?
Well, not recently, but yeah, 4 5 years ago.
Past 4 years,
Yeah.
recent. But I listened to that and like the mix on it's just it sounds great still.
It
I mean,
does. It really does. I mean, we uh I remember okay, the first what comes to mind, I mean, as far as, because I don't want the focus to be on me, but it's so much except to include you. But I remember, you were kind of like, we used your guitar amp mic, the one
yeah,
that what model was that?
that's was it the soap bar one? Uh,
It's the kind of flat one that just like, yeah.
it's Sennheiser E905, I
Yeah.
believe.
I
I,
think I had another mic that I was trying to use, and we ran out of mic stands, and you were like, yeah, you can just hang this in front of the grill. And I was like, really? And you're like, yeah. But I mean, I just hadn't used that mic before. I was just suspicious of that method. But I mean,
You know,
I guess that's the way that works, and it worked great.
way the Guitar Center salesman sold me on it is they mic jet engines with this, and I was like, real. I was a I was I was a huge rube, you know.
A huge rube. I love it.
I'm extremely gullible, so I was like, oh, they mic jet engines? Well, this must be a really good microphone.
I mean, well, I guess that one worked out. That
It, it
that one worked out well.
it's a good microphone, but yeah,
Yeah. So we recorded that, and the Crisco Kids, um, San and Tokyo.
yep.
Um, San and Tokyo was a 4 track. That was a 4 track recording. I brought my TAC A23 440 SX.
And so is the Evelyn's. That was also a four
That
track.
was, you're right. You're right. That was. All of them were just in the room in their practice space, and you were helping me mic it, and you know, etc. So yeah, then so we did that, and like from throughout from like 2006 to 2007, and then started kind of actually I was able to start getting the release stuff going at the end of 2007 and 2008, as far as like actually duplicating and get everything going. And we had the release show at Sticky Fingers, right?
I believe yeah, was that the first one was
Yeah,
Crisco.
Crisco Kids. I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was Sticky Fingers, because I remember you like labeling. It was like so 11th hour, and you were like labeling tapes, at the merch stand, at the merch table.
Hey man, funny story about you working on tapes. Uh Meagerbot uh uh thing that we played at the state capitol, the Obama rally, uh where we played on the steps of the Capitol.
For
It
who? You might as well say like who was there.
was Hillary Clinton was there. Yeah, it was a big deal. We were gonna be Hillary banned, you know. But
And
we're
who
we're
else? Who else?
who else was there?
Dude, come on.
Oh, Ted Danson. It was standing right in front of us.
Yeah. Ted Danson.
He tripped on your drum stool.
He did, man. We were just like having to get the fuck off the stair, off the steps of the Capitol, and I was just like, shifting everything off, and then it's like, okay, cool, good gig, man. And then we look over. They've already like started the next like part of the program, and Ted Danson's. I look over, and he's like standing right in front of my drum stool, and he's already starting to get older at that point. It was 2008. Yeah.
Yeah,
And he was already, he was getting older and stuff, and he seemed shaky, and then so he took a step back, and the drum throne has got those like tripod legs, and so it's kind of weird. And he kind of caught one of those legs, and then just, what do you do?
well, he danced a little bit, and recovered, but that's how he got his nickname, Dancing Ted Danson.
Dancing Ted Danson. Love it. Yeah. He danced. He did for a few seconds. He danced to recover his balance, and then right after that, I ran. I just like I was like, oh my God, I mean, like, what if I was responsible for him becoming paralyzed or whatever? Um, so
But
I was like, I got to run out there and grab it. So I did, and then
you were almost late for that show, I remember. And we everybody was like, "Where's Nathan?" I bet he's at his fucking house working on 8-track tapes.
It's
And
like,
we went by your house and knocked on the door and yeah, you had lost track of time, like, opening 8-track cartridges up.
oh my God. Yeah. Hey, hey guys, here's your big shot, step of the Capitol, playing for Obama. And
He
uh
wasn't even he wasn't even there.
oh, that's right, it was an Obama rally. But Hillary Clinton, Ted Danson,
Yeah,
thousands of people or whatever it was. And
we
yeah,
were
I've got to work on 8 tracks instead.
supposed to get our picture with Hillary, and there was some kind of mix up where we were on one side of the wall and she was on the other, thinking that we were supposed to be over there. He thought something and we ended up standing her up on accident.
Wow.
They
Like,
were like, "You had your chance, boys."
wow. No name prog punk instrumental band stands up Hillary Clinton.
Headline news, man.
Oh my God. Okay, so I mean, I feel like, you were younger and I'm old. I'm like, let's see, I guess I'm 15 years older than you or whatever. So, I mean, you were younger and you were kind of just like kind of following my vibe to a certain degree. And I was like just like obsessed with analog. And
Yeah,
so, I mean, I feel like, and you were kind of like you were enjoying it. I mean, you were enjoying the ride, but kind of like observing it from above at the same time. And so I remember some things like uh yeah, I mean, anything to say about that? I mean, about the whole, I mean, if you have anything funny to say about analog tape or whatever, this is your time.
my opportunity. Any of
Yeah.
my tape jokes that I've
Yeah.
been harboring to myself. Well, like, I'll say this, as far as you helping me get my first 4-track, is that the ability to track uh, 4 channels at the same time. Digital machines you could get that would do that, but they were hugely fucking expensive. Uh, and uh, Getting that 4-track and having the ability to record 4 channels at the same time was big for me because I had been limited to 2 tracks, you know.
Mm.
So I was basically running like a mixer into like to do drums. I would have like a 4-channel mixer and send one of like the left, out into one channel. Pretty much mix all the drum. Have to do the mix of the drums all in one channel, and then I'd have like guitar on the other, and and with uh with a tape machine, I could do 3 channels of drums and one guitar, to do like the rough track, and then I could, bounce things down and just keep adding to it, you know, uh, which, you know, that was that was huge in my development as far as recording and songwriting and stuff like that goes. And you know, it is an enjoyable format. Once you get like a crate full of uh, just like tons of recordings that you've done, just a pile of cassettes. You look at it uh, and there's like some kind of physical evidence that you did something.
Gosh, I love thinking about that. It's like full cycle. It's like you've got a crate full of tape cassettes that you've recorded multi-track on, going back to your childhood where you have the bin of just like Christian and promotional loose cassettes just hanging out in a bin. That's great. I when you were talking about that, it reminded me. so I moved away from Little Rock. I moved to Fort Worth, and we had a kid and stuff, and had to get away from it. The whole Katrina thing happened, and there were people having there's like gunfights out in front of our house, and like I guess we can't raise a kid here. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we moved to Fort Worth, and then you continue. So you kind of started doing stuff where you were recording bands.
Yeah.
So
To
you had that 4 track going, and you were just taking it to places and recording people.
Well, yeah, there's a bunch of like, punk bands and stuff that it was really disorganized. Nobody was recording anything, and bands would get together and break up in 4 months without any evidence of having ever existed. And so I pretty much just had I was the only one with a tape machine, so I just recorded people for free, and did my best at mix downs, not great, but you
Are
know,
any of these things online, or are they all just kind of like still in unmixed fat format on the multi-track cassette?
I our mutual friend Alex Butler, who died recently. When that happened, I kind of went through things and digitized some stuff, but I sent it to like the people that were in the bands to do with what they wanted to. Uh, so I haven't really. I don't know if there's any. Trying to think if there's anything online like all the
So
mice.
it exists, but it may or may not be online depending on what they decide to do with it.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
And I gave them digital copies at the time, and it's been after like 10 years or so, old computers get thrown out and they don't have it more. So every once in a while I'll get like a message from somebody like, hey, do you have my recording? And I'll be like, oh shit, dig out the milk crate.
It's almost like you become some kind of a parental figure, that like responsible parental figure that people are like, oh shit, we were in a band. Oh, Daniel recorded us, yeah, let's hit him up. Yeah, maybe it exists, something like
Well,
that.
and the horrible thing is I'm extremely fucking lazy. So like they'll like hit me up and they'll be like, "Hey, do you have those?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, but I got to do like a lot of fucking work to, get it to you, man." And and just end up acting real put off.
Yeah.
But no, I try to get it together and get people their stuff when they ask. But at the same time, it's like it depends on what the state of my 4 track is at the time
Yeah.
too.
Again, going back to the repair situation in Little Rock, we have less than a minute. We just got to the minute mark. You got out of 4 track. I mean, just really, really quickly in a few seconds. I mean, like, what happened there?
I'll
Just
just
the repair issue. It's just like, I mean, I can't maintain this.
basically like one track would go out and I'd be like bummer. And so I've got like a fucking Zoom R24 that's like a 24 track digital recorder, and it gets decent results. And sometimes I use the 4 track and I'll dump the 4 tracks onto that recorder and finish the vocals
Hmm.
or what.
Well, man, listen, hey, I mean, it's great talking to you, and you're going to actually come visit me in here in a couple weeks. I'm looking forward to it. Haven't seen you in years, but thank you so much, Daniel, for being on Tape Talk.